Let's test this is working. Quick look and switch. Okay, looking good. All right, great. That looks all right. Okay. Say hi if you drop. Okay. Good to go. Now I'm just going to give it a minute in case anybody's coming in. I've started just exactly at 7. All right. I say I'm just going to start. And if anybody does trickle in tonight, great. If not, then I'm just going to talk like there's people there as always for the YouTube channel. Okay. So, first things first, the last stream that I did, which was way longer than expected, was reworking the animations. Hey, DeSoto, thanks for saying hi. If you got any questions tonight, just give a shout and I'll be more than happy to answer them. So I just want to, because it just takes 2 minutes. So I was really tired in the last stream, but basically I had this problem in the last stream that when I aimed, the guy was like going completely crazy and he was like waving with his gun and stuff. I didn't know what it was. I was like, it's been enough of a stream today. So as you can see, I fixed it and it was actually incredibly easy to fix. It just needed a lot of work for me to go through everything and figure out what it was. So I'm just going to show that for a minute in case anybody did follow it in the last stream. It was actually such a simple thing. But with all these animations, it's just easy to make a mistake. So let's go to my prefabs. Where did they go? Here, units. So this is the good one. So if we go here to the mesh, which is the animator component, basically what I did was I just completely messed up because the animation that I had used had a walk cycle. That was it. That just messed up. So basically, what happened? Oh, hold it. This should be. That could explain something that had been going on. All right, cool. So 2 things. All my animations, I put the root transform rotation on original, not body orientation, because Unity was messing that up. So basically, it had like a walk cycle. So it was aiming high and it was walking, and that was what was just like making it go absolutely crazy. So the way I debugged this was just I literally went through every single animation that I had. And then I noticed it in the bottom right corner. And the moment I changed that, it was all good and everything worked as expected. So yeah, that was fixed in the last stream. Sorry, not in the last stream, but that is fixed now. Okay, so just to show it for a minute, let's just put it on, maximized for a minute. So yeah, basically came out good, happy with it. Aim. The hand is a little bit off here because there's no IK stuff going on right now. I've had that working in an old model, but it gave me problems with it going prone. And I don't want to focus on that right now, as it's just really a cosmetic thing. It's got nothing to do with gameplay. So as you can see, it's working as expected now, which is great. So I'm really happy with that. You know, it can run, then go into aim, the usual stuff, the controls, they're okay. So what am I going to do today? Well, I'm going to work on the AI, and it's probably going to really suck because, as usual, when working on a game, I've discovered when working on an AI system, it's like you have a part of a level, you program the AI, and you fix all the problems and the edge cases there, and then it's like a week or 2 or 3 further. you've worked more on level design, the levels have become bigger and everything, and then you discover, oh, I've overfitted my code to work good on this one area, and now it just sucks in other areas. So today before the stream, the one thing I actually focused on doing was making it easier to debug things. And what I'm going to show right now might seem completely and utterly obvious, but as you might have noticed, now when the game starts, all the scenery is there. So normally it's only the player's units that reveal scenery, right? So let me just put that the way it is normally. So here I made the script today. It's really, really simple. Nothing optimized about it. I just make 3 arrays for now: obstacle array, wall array, roof array. Those are like the 3 kinds of things that I fade in if they're not revealed by the player. I just say, blah, this is just a get out early thing. And here I just say find game objects with tag, and that literally just fills it with an array. And then I just go through all of them. I can't be bothered doing array concat to put one array after another. It's just really not necessary. Just rock and roll code. Let's make it work. And because you can't reinitialize an array and you can only set everything to null, I just destroy the component after it's done its job, because I just don't need all that memory being killed. Even though it's not an optimization problem, it only needs to happen at the start. So I really don't care. So this basically, if I do this now, if I disable the enable renderer on all scenery, then we're back to the way the game is meant to be when the player is playing it, which is things fade in as they see them, basically like this. And if you're wondering why the hiding spots are visible, I'm not going to say anything's pretty tonight, but it works. This is the hide all cover spots. This all has to go into like one actual script. The map manager, which I didn't port the scripts over to, so all this script stuff, I'm just doing it like separate because separation of concern, and later on I'll throw it in there and we're good to go. So now the hiding spots will be hidden and the scenery will not be revealed on game start. So as you can see, everything's gone. I'm not doing it for the loot locations because I'm lazy, and there we go. Now, why did I do that? Well, I need to be able to see the hiding spots with the AI, because the AI uses it, the player doesn't use it. And when I'm going to do later on AI against AI, then none of the scenery is visible because AI doesn't reveal the scenery. So that's why I put this stuff in there, basically. So let's just do a quick rebake because reasons. The nav mesh, take a quick peek. All right. So, I'm still on this part of the level, which is very small. And this is actually, it seems quite simple. It's actually quite a complicated thing. So let's, without further ado, just get started. So my plan is this. First of all, I'm going to just control one soldier, and there's going to be one soldier AI. And I am going to start testing it, basically. So, because I've already got a suspicion there's going to be a lot of problems, because the original AI code that I wrote, let me just see if I can find that. That's like over there somewhere. Actually, why wouldn't I even just show this in the interest of the stream, basically? But I really hope I didn't remove this stuff in cleanup. I think it's here. No, that's there. There should be stuff over there. Just give it a moment. Yeah, I could have just gotten rid of it. I think I just got rid of it. Anyway, all right. So be it. It doesn't really matter. It would have just been nice to show. All right. So let's go over to game view, and I can see the AI now. So let's see what's going to happen if I run over here. Okay, he spotted me. Okay, cool. What's he going to do? And I'm just going to put gizmos on now. So this is, I'm just going to explain this for a moment. This is a physics overlap sphere in Unity, and what I do with that is, it depends on the AI personality. This sphere is placed ahead, over, or behind. So if it's aggressive, the AI combat personality, the sphere is placed forward, which means it will constantly push up. If it's cautious, it's got just as much chance of going left, right, forwards, backwards. And if it's stealthy, I call it that. I don't know why. It should be like cowardly or something. It pulls back. So let's just see what it's going to do. All right, so this white thing there that you see, that is its destination. That's like a debugger that makes it possible for me to see stuff, basically. So I'm just curious what it's going to do now, because I have not touched this AI code in weeks, like weeks, and it's probably not going to be something I'm very happy with right now. All right, so I think his goal is just to move to the loot location. Let's take a look at that. What's he doing? He's in the state of move to cover. I'm not sure what he's going to do. I have absolutely no clue. Let's just go here, take an aim, see what he does. Wow. That is the problem. I think he's going to be really stupid and just keep walking through that door. Yeah. This is what I was afraid of. So, like I said, the level that I'm going to just turn the guns off now. The level that I worked on, that I was testing this AI with, it was basically walls, low walls, high walls. There was no cover at all. Now, look, what it's doing now is kind of daft, right? This is what I was afraid of. It's this funnel problem, and it makes complete sense, actually. I'll try and explain why. So let's say I've got my player here behind that box, and he's over there. So what the current AI does now is, because it's just a working version, it's not a finished version, is it draws a line between itself and the enemy within its field of view. And then it gets that physics overlap sphere, and it says, hey, I'm going to move it forward or backwards depending upon my AI combat personality. So right now, this mythology is already completely flawed. It's like it's always going to have to go in a straight line. Now, there's a couple of things we can do about this. So, and as always, I've discovered when I'm coding AI, it sounds so impressive. I'm definitely clueless as to how most of it works when I put it all together. So the first thing we can do is we can make that physics overlap sphere bigger. That could already give us the randomness we need, because the one thing I'm learning lately is overcomplicated solutions are really just an absolute pain. And sometimes the simplest thing works. So let's go into soldier unit logic. So I have these states here. So let's look at move to cover, and here we've got this sphere physics size modifier, which is on 8. What would happen if we put it on 16? All right, once again, I'm just going to put it on maximized and gizmos on, because I think that's the only way in the stream to kind of see it and make sense. So, all right, so he just saw the player. He's going to move there. So that red sphere that you see right now, that's his overlap sphere. Okay. So the shooting now. Oh, nice. Got an aiming bug. I don't know why he's looking away. Now, you know, this is already bad, right? It's like he's taking this huge route across the open, and he's just getting decimated because he's in cover. He's not, which is exactly why I set this up. Okay, cool. So just to make something clear, the blue cyan colored like thing, that's like for it picking a destination. The red one is the combat cover spot. Okay, so look, he's picked this cover spot, right? Now he's picked this one. So he should flank. Right. Okay, that's interesting. That's unpredictable. So you know what, I'm just going to run over here now, and I'm going to look there. I'm actually going to put the gunshots on. I will just turn the audio down a lot. If it's too loud, please just say so. I don't know what he's going to do now. I don't remember my code. Okay. Wow, that's actually way better already. So, you know, basically to explain what's happening here is that big red physics overlap sphere, because it's way bigger now, and it's not just this small one in between the AI and the player, to me as the player, it's completely unpredictable right now where he's going to go. I mean, you have to remember that normally if we'd be playing the game, we would have, it's an option that I added today, always render AI units. So if I turn that off now, I will only see that thing if my soldier sees it. Now, of course, I see it because of the gizmos, but let's turn that off. Okay, so there's still a debug line there. So I'm kind of cheating still. Okay. So the thing is, you know, these guys don't have any hearing yet. I've got to disable that debug line, basically. All right, this is bad. He should be pulling back now. And he will because there's a certain distance. I remember programming that in. So it's kind of obvious here. There's so much room for improvement. But, you know, just off changing that one number alone, we've stopped him going into this funnel, right? Oh, wow. That worked pretty good. Right, that's an aiming bug on my side. This is bad. I don't want to be going there, obviously. I'm just curious how he's going to respond if I run behind him. So these guys don't hear anything, right? He's probably going to get me first now. Oh, look at that. So he's a bit daft. So is my guy, it seems. There we go. All right. Interesting. Okay. So let me just check this out again. So here in the squad manager, I have this aggressive, cautious, stealthy. So aggressive, if I'm correct, the red physics overlap sphere should just move forward a lot. Let's just do it like this. So yeah, as you can see, he was there, and this physics overlap sphere now, he's still in there because it's not like moving away from him, but because it's got so little of him in the sphere, there's a big chance that he's going to move forward or go to the side. And this is me recapping my own code, by the way. So I've not even dared to look at it today. So if we put it on stealthy, if I'm correct, then that physics overlap sphere should go more behind it. Let's try that out. And by the way, if you're wondering, that little red circle there, that's something I've been working on with the nav mesh nav agent where it can find the closest corner. That's not the physics overlap sphere. Okay, look, there we go. So as you can see, it did the physics overlap sphere behind it. And that could already use a tweak. Unfortunately, I didn't get it working with the code yet, that it's always in the right position because it's just a debugger. This one's always correct. So yeah, you know, it's work in progress. That's something I've really got to fix though. I just don't really feel like doing it right now. Today is just like getting reacquainted with stuff, basically. And if I'm correct, there's something I've still got to work on with the player code, which is like if your guy gets shot in the back, then it turns around and looks at them. I don't think I did that yet. No, so that's something the AI player does. turns around and looks. But this guy doesn't, because it's a player-controlled character. Hello, N8G Dev. Hi there, welcome to the stream. I'm just going to read this out loud because these videos get recorded and put onto YouTube. So you're saying, hello, I am a game designer, Dev2. What are you working on? That's a good question. I'm working on a real-time strategy squad-based game, in a nutshell. So basically, I'm not going to explain the whole concept right now because that's been done in plenty of other videos, but this is like a photogrammetry scan of a Google Earth map, and this map is going to be built eventually. And right now, as you can see, I've got a little part of it here, and the reason I've got a very small part is because I'm using it to playtest these AI combat mechanics. So basically, the player can control, it's not been decided yet, 2, 3, or 4 guys. Right now, I'm doing it with 1, just to keep it simple. And the idea is to go into the game, get into the game level, get cool stuff, survive, and get out in a nutshell. So like right now I'm working on AI combat mechanics. That's been a long time coming. In the previous episode, I've rebuilt, I was using a Mixamo humanoid character. In the previous stream, I got a re-rigged version of a droid model from CG Trader, and a friend of mine, Perry Lighton, he rigged it for me. And I got that working, basically. So the player is now destroyed, and the AIs are these like humanoid characters. So right now, what I did was when I developed the AI script, because the AI can play against the AI as well, it basically, I did overfitting with my code. It was a small, close quarter battle level with low walls and high walls, and there was no corners or buildings. The very first version of this AI that I got working, which is what you're looking at now, sounds cool. Is it your project or something for a bigger studio you are working with? It is completely my own project. I have, I think, like many game devs, a huge amount of failed games, as in, oh my god, it's all one big script and it breaks. And through the years, learning more code and programming, let's say I've gotten better now. And this is a game idea I've had for quite a while, though I've gone through 2 iterations so far. And bugs and all, as you see now. And basically, I'm pretty much doing all of it alone. I occasionally get some help from some very nice friends that are far more successful than me in the game industry. And, you know, like, so Perry Lighton did this rig for me. A very good friend of mine, Tropical Trevor. He's my secret weapon when I've been trying to fix something for 2 or 3 days. He's very, very good coder and programmer. So yeah, you know, I always try to only reach out for support from more experienced people after I understand the problem and I just don't understand the solution. Asking, can I ask you some advice for my own projects in Unity? Sure thing. I don't know if I'm a qualified person to ask, but this stream is definitely there for people to ask anything. Talking and chatting is encouraged. So please ask anything that you would like. Just give you a minute. So N8GDev, do you want to ask that now in the stream? I'll tell you what, I'm just going to carry on in the meantime. If I see a question pop up, I'll pause and then I'll be more than happy to answer. Throw any questions you want at me. Oh yeah, sure, okay. Just take your time. I'm just going to move some things around and pop open some code while I'm waiting. I'm just taking a look here at the code. It's been a while. So just to run this through for a minute, just to explain it, I'll just wait for N8 to post his thing when he's ready. No hurry. So basically, it's state-based AI, and it pretty much mirrors 90% the state-based changes that the player uses with their character. There's some differences, obviously, because one is controlled by input from the player, and one is controlled by the AI. So to explain this really simply in an abstract way, as the player, you decide where they move to, and you decide their aim mode. And those are actually two kinds of scripts. So you've got the input controls, which moves you, and then you've got the aim modes, which are state-based. So the move stuff, the movement state, that's just fine. The aim state, like, are we aiming at one point? Are we aiming forward in whatever direction that we're moving? Do we do an adaptive aim where we look backwards no matter which way we're walking? So that's like relative to our what direction. The AI can't work in that way. So the AI needs more information, because you as a player, you look at the battlefield or the level and you think, oh, I'm going to make a choice to put my guy there and that guy there based upon the information that you have. And yeah, the AI is obviously completely and utterly dumb until it's given some reason to do something. So basically what I've got here is, let's just run you through it. This is the soldier class, state manager. So state manager basically is, it just holds the state. Is the unit crouched, walking, standing, running, reloading, aiming? Oh wow, okay, I've just got a question from NAGDev. So basically I developed a rope-like object that works with configurable joints, and I attach it to my player. Since everything is physics-based, I need a player with a rigid body, but I am trash at coding character controller. I want to switch to the Unity starter asset character controller, but here's the catch. It doesn't work with a rigid body. Do you have any idea on how I could work around this problem? No. Absolutely not. I really am clueless. Like most things with game development, I would say I'd probably have to see what you've got, how you put it together, and then look at it probably for at least half an hour and start turning stuff on and off to get a clue where it goes wrong. I mean, when you say you attach it to your player, it's like, is this a first-person game? Is it a third-person game? Do they walk around on the floor? Do they fly? That's what I mean when I say I don't have an answer, because there's a lot of information missing there. So I'm not too sure how else to answer that, NHGDev. That's kind of difficult without the visual feedback of what it is that you're working on. I would totally say to you, post on forums. The Unity forums, very helpful. Stack Overflow. Share your desperation. 3/4 of my journey so far with this has been desperation, turning to euphoria after I finally nail something. Some stuff I figure out in an hour or two. Some stuff's taken a week or two. And a lot of that is then just trying to bang a square into a round hole and then realizing that's just not going to work, and just deleting most of it and just starting from scratch. I'd say if you hit a lot of problems with something you're trying to build, a system, then maybe the idea is the problem. And with that, I don't mean idea as gameplay mechanics. That's always cool. The idea is like, oh, what am I going to use to build those gameplay mechanics? I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just very vague to me when you say you've got a rope-like object that works with your player. It's like, what does this have to do? I don't know. Like, do they control it? Does it just bounce around after them with a tail? It's very hard to answer. I would totally look on the asset store though. There's definitely 2 or 3 assets, I've forgotten their names, which are totally made for like tentacles which sound a tentacle is like a rope. Yeah, you know, it's like made out of multiple parts. I've forgotten the name of it. If you look around, actually, let's just take a quick peek and I'll carry on with the stream. Because I might have this in my favorited stuff. Let's take a look here. Just give me a moment. Why do I see my wish list again? Ah, there we go. Saved assets. Save for later. Was it here? Just give me one moment. I think I found it. I think. 1 minute. I know it's this guy from Impossible Creations. 1 minute. There we go. So, yeah, I would say don't develop something like that. So on the asset store, I don't know if this will help you, but you're talking about a rope, and a rope is like a tail. So there's this guy, F Impossible Creations, amazing stuff, like really amazing stuff. And I think it's this one you're interested in, Tail Animator 2. If this is the one I think. Ah, there we go. Look, you can do... I don't know if this helps, but, you know, you can do this in 2D and 3D. And this makes me think of a rope, right? And it's got like loads and loads of options to tweak and make stuff. It's like, it's crazy sick. It can work with gravity, just everything. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna help you, but it's like, this is the only thing that came to mind with you talking about it, like being a rope. So yeah, it's from it's called Tail Animator, but it doesn't have to be a tail. It can pretty much be anything basically. So I hope that might be something that might help you out. But outside of that, without more information, it'd be hard to say what else to do. Simulate the rope from Uncharted 4. I've not played Uncharted 4. Forgive me. Do they like throw the rope over something? I remember in The Last of Us 2, there's this thing with a rope. But yeah, it sounds like a really difficult thing to develop. I would just say, if you can, get the gameplay mechanic down without any visuals, or as little visuals as possible. You really don't want to put a lot of work and time into figuring out. You can attach it to stuff and swing around. Okay, well, just do that with a straight line. Yeah, get the swinging mechanics down. Is it fun? Is it as cool as you thought? Yeah, okay, cool. So your game mechanics, yeah, good. Yeah, I have no idea like what you've done right, so I'm just going from the bottom up. Yeah, basically, I've never made a rope in game code, so I don't know. So I'm gonna wish you good luck with it. I'm not too sure what else to say. Physics is not actually my strongest forte in Unity. Like I know how to use it, but I'm not a grandmaster wizard with it. All right, so I'm gonna get back to the stream. Thanks for asking though. All conversations and chats are encouraged. All right, so state manager, as I was saying, it just basically it stores state, and it's responsible for handling the animator. So with the input controls, we set something like movement state to running or crouching or this or that, and here we check, is that stuff allowed, and if it is, set it. And here we've got the animator, and there's some parameters like set bool and stuff like that. I have anim states like 0, 1, 2, 3, I think, like walking, running, crouched, prone. They all just match up with an integer. And here I just like basically set the anim states, and I set the nav agent speed modifier. So, you know, if you crouch, you're going slower than if you're walking, and if you're running, you're going faster than everything else. So that's the state manager. It just listens. Soldier, this is the beast script. You're welcome, N8. This is a B script. It's just way too big and it's messy. It's doing an awful lot. It's at the top of the umbrella that everything else is inheriting and working from. And that's fine. I know my way around it, like with the back of my hand, so that's not a problem. So what we do is we give the soldier, the AI soldier, a starting state, the current state actually. So here it's move to loot location. I just literally drag that up there. So then we go to the move to loot location script. Let's do that. So this is where it says, hey, I got this route plotted out of multiple loot locations, and right now there's only one. And once I've reached one and I've got all the loot out of it with my squad, then I go to the next one. That's it, basically. So the thing I'm interested in is this, right at the top. If the soldier takes damage or it has a visible target, it changes its AI type from move to loot location to move to cover. Move to cover up is up here, public of type state AI. And then it goes out of looting mode into combat mode, basically. So if we now go to move to cover, and we go here, this is a lot of code, and it ain't gonna work as good as I would have liked with the new developments in the level and the scenery. And I don't think I'm gonna be really digging into this tonight. There's a lot of work to get going. I've just even got to reread it again, basically. So what I want to do right now is I want to figure out what the flaws are in the current AI. Make some bullet notes. Did that down here. AI problems and things to fix. This list will be long. All right. So let's just look at this in a nutshell. So we initialize the cover destination. Oh, I do not know what I did there. All right. So basically this AI works in the way of, with the move to cover thing, if I am within a certain distance of my destination, like say 1 unit, 1 meter, then pick the next destination. That's in its simplest thing. So we have to initialize the script with its cover destination is itself. So, you know, that's it basically. And then it like loops through the script infinitely. So if we go up here now, I'm in the wrong script. That explains why. Okay. So here we have update soldier AI, which is an override. So if we're dead, we return. If the closest target is equal to null, then we start this lost sight of closest target timer. Why? You know, units move out of sight, right? So once the unit's gone, there needs to be a timer, because otherwise the old version of the AI was just like, oh, there's nobody there, I'm not in combat anymore. And that was bad, obviously, because you're a player and you go, hey, I saw somebody over there and he moved. So we have this lost sight of closest target timer. And we just say every single frame, lost sight of target is false. And if the lost sight of closest target time is greater than 0, then lost sight of target is true. Okay, so here we go. If soldier takes damage, we have this like, this was something I was working on, so I'm winging half of what I'm saying now. I kind of wanted to put a threshold in there where it's like, if it gets heavily damaged, it does something differently. So that's what people do in first-person shooters. Like, they're almost dead and like, and they run away or they want to do something else. So say if the soldier without health got taken damage, damage received in combat, we add 1. And if the soldier damage received in combat is greater than the damage threshold, heavily damaged equals true. Okay, I don't know why I'm not setting that to false somewhere. Must be a reason. Okay, we use, gotta put comments in, it's amazing. We use this to break the current destination if we get too close to an enemy. We're invisible. Soldier closest target, and we're not running. So we get the distance. All right, so we set a variable here. Target to close true, target to close false. This would change later on, I suppose, based upon if the soldier has a shotgun or a rifle. You know, if you've got a sniper rifle, the target could be too close at a distance of 30, 60 meters. You've got a shotgun, they're only too close, like never, basically. So I think that's why I slapped this logic in there. This resets all state flags. Okay, so we get the distance to the current cover spot. So this cover destination is set at the beginning when we say, one more. Yeah, okay. So if distance to current cover spot is less than the distance threshold, we've reached our destination. Then we reset everything. Reach current destination is true. Backing away from target is false. Run into cover is false. Heavily damaged false. Waiting cover time false. Don't know if that should be reset there. And we have a wait and cover timer. Why? Because otherwise it reaches cover and it instantly moves to a new spot and moves to a new spot. Now, this is bad. This was like overfitting in a small level. I need to later on make the AI be aware, like, am I in a good position? Like, am I behind low cover and the enemy isn't? If the enemy isn't, I should stay here and not move. Why would you? Right? That's one problem to solve. So if AI is, AI now moves out of cover when a timer is below 0, it should stay if it has good cover and the target doesn't. So that's one thing to fix. Okay. Yeah, and if the distance isn't less than the distance threshold, we didn't reach the current destination. Okay, so this is where it got really hard to get the logic in there. So let's just run through it. Breakout. If we're running to cover or backing away from the target, we just return. We don't want to go into this part here. Okay, so I was trying a lot of stuff out there, as you can see. So basically what I did was, if we reach the current destination and wait in cover timer is less than 0 and run to cover equals false, then we go in. Okay. All right, so if lost sight of target equals false and we have a target, right, here we go. Now I remember how this works a little bit. So here we do a check on the AI combat personality, like aggressive, cautious, stealthy. And what we do is this one, this is that thing that offsets that physics transform sphere, right? So if it's aggressive, it moves it forward like 80%. If it's cautious, it puts it over the unit. And if it's stealthy, cowardly, it puts it back like 70, 80%. So here we just say, we just do a check. Do we have a closest target? If so, we set the directions to the closest enemy to 0. Why? When it's wrong, it'll point towards the middle of the map, and that just helps me know there's an error somewhere. So we get the directions to the closest enemy. We normalize it, and then we get this direction offset, which could be like 1 if it's aggressive, 0 if it's cautious, minus 0.75 if it's like stealthy. And here we have an offset. That's it. So this cover locator offset is what we're interested in there. So that does that. So that moves this thing, which then it just puts it there, basically. If we... This is a good one. Right. So when we don't have a target, we move the last known position. Okay. Where do we set this? That's a good one. I think in soldier, actually. Where do I set it? That's a good one to know. Here we go. A static aim AI. So I only use one aim script, if I'm correct, with the AI. So, question from NHEDev. This might be useful in the future, but have you ever thought about services like Mapbox of 3D models of real life places? Yeah, just no point, basically. It's a game. It doesn't have to be realistic. This is just a placeholder for things. It's probably not even going to be set like in the real world. They're just more obstacles and obstructions, and I'm not a level designer just yet, so I just wanted something to get the ball rolling, and it was just good to get the assets going. And the thing is, the research that I did into using these kind of services, the problem is it's not modular, right? So okay, so I get a building model. Yeah, great. You know, do I have to go into Blender and then pull everything apart? You know, like this, I can just have pieces and just duplicate them and put them all over the level. So it's quite a bit of work in one way, but all of these assets are reusable. So everything that I'm building on this level can be used in all the other level prototypes, and any changes that I make in one can go through to the other. So that's why I use this as a placeholder, but I'm just building it like this, basically. It's got the most flexibility for me. Okay, so I was looking for last known enemy position, and that was set here in A static aim AI. Static aim, just so you know, the terminology for me, the way I made this was like a static aim is like a static aim point in the world. There's a point, a position, and no matter how the soldier moves, it keeps aiming at that point. So that could be a corner, it could be anything. It's a very naive script, this one. It just basically says, when I see an enemy, I keep updating that. And when I lose sight of the enemy, so we have the current target. Here we go. Whoops. Soldier last known enemy position. Okay. So basically, if the closest target is not equal to null, we keep updating the last known enemy position to the current target's position. And then if we lose sight of the target, okay, we don't care. So what happens then is the AI should have like this green hexagon on the floor, which is the static aim icon for now. And that should be like where it thought that I was. So if I run over here, it's going to see me. All right, so you see that green thing there? It lost sight of me, but that's the last known position that it's got. So if I walk over here now, that green thing is aiming there. That's a problem. So see that green hexagon is following me. If I run here around the corner, there. Okay. Remembering it. Don't come over as a complete idiot on the stream. All right. So let's go back here to the move to cover. All right. So that's how we got the last known enemy position. So what I'm doing here is, and this is bad, if sight is lost, it behaves like it's aggressive. It's always moving forward towards the target then, just like this, basically. That's a problem, you know, because sometimes it should just wait. So when AI loses sight of target, it behaves too aggressively, and AI combat personality isn't taken into account. Totally forgot how to type today. Don't type good under pressure. All right. So if we reach destination, we're not running to cover. I don't know why we put the damage received in combat back to 0. Probably because it was just too complicated. So here we have this wait and cover timer. So it'll wait between 1 to 3 seconds. That's flawed. This should depend on the AI personality. Okay. All right. If the target's too close and we have a target and we're not backing away from the target, we set backing away from target to true, and then we back off. That's like this stealthy, cowardly thing. Oh yeah, so what I do here is, I have two methods, two functions. One is move to cover, regardless of what's going on. And this one is if the enemy is visible. Am I not using that one? Up here. Okay, now I get it. So this is like, there's no enemy visible. So we're just moving from cover to cover. Now we've got like a target visible, and then we do the enemy visible. Okay. All right. Okay. It's actually not that bad. Oh yeah, at the end, in the late update, we set taking damage to false. Yeah, this is overfitted code basically. So let's just take a quick peek at. So I need to rewrite this with a class, basically, because here I've got like 3 lists. This is like really old code. This like very naive implementation, and I discovered the sorting function based upon attribute of classes that's possible with LINQ and C#, which would make a lot of the code here a little bit redundant. I could just bundle it all into a class and then set the attributes there. So what we do here, we make an array of the type collider, cover spots in cover sphere. So we move that red sphere like we spoke about, right? Hiding spot mask, that's the physics layer, so it will only include cover spots. They're called hiding spots because it's really old code. So if you hear hiding spot, it's cover spots basically. If the amount of them is 0, we have nothing, and then we return the transform position. Don't know why. Think about this one more time. Need to fudge it because some cover is still kind of visible. Enemy head height offset. Because basically what we do here is we get a cover spot, we get the distance to the closest target, and we get the direction. We draw a range, see if we hit an enemy. Oh, wait a minute. I did start the class of the cover spot. I just didn't add everything. Okay. All right. If I'm reading that code right, let's see if this is going to work. I'm wondering if something's broken here or not. I'm going to have to let it. So basically, if me, the player, can see a piece of cover, that it's moving to, it should cast a red line to it. Because basically I remembered what I did was, I'm checking like, is the cover that the AI wants to move to, is that visible to the soldier it can see? If it knew if it was visible to any soldier, that would just be an unfair advantage. And now it's just not turning around because reasons. Hey guy. Oh, that took a while. That was pretty stupid. Give him a chance to see me first. Cool. All right. So yeah, these guys don't hear anything yet. So here's a problem. He keeps looking at this last known position. And he's just absolutely stupid right now. He's not turning around when he's taking damage. Brilliant. Okay. Let's see if we can fix that. So he's in move to cover mode, and actually this is his aiming section. So what he's doing is that's a good one. All right, I know I've not been working on hero mechanics, so let's just turn that off. So basically I need it to stop looking at this last known position and fix. It should look basically at a target if it's getting hit by it, basically. So he's going to go in there. That's good. That's what I want. So it's looking at that last known position. Now it worked. Okay. By the way, player's got a huge amount of health compared to this guy. Okay. Strange. All right. Like I said, this was more of a let's look at everything again. So let's see all hell break loose, basically. So they're going to be controlled. Always run the AI units. Always run the AI units. So let's get these guys and put them there. Let's get these guys and put them here. See what happens. Whoops, wrong one. These have to be AI. Yeah, this is going to get messy, so let's take a peek. Ah, and this is what I meant. None of the scenery is getting revealed now. Girl scenery. There we go. All right, so I'm not controlling anything now. So soldiers do not share any information with each other. They're completely unaware of everything. So, you know, there's no logic in there for like flanking or stuff like that. And it's been a while since I looked at all this, and I already see, like right now, for example, one of the bigger problems is the moment they see an enemy, most of the time they move out of a good firing position into cover because yeah, when the AI has a good line of sight but sees an enemy, they mainly move to cover, which makes them lose line of sight. So here they are all looking at these last known loot locations. Of course, this is all horribly broken right now, not at all working in any way that I'd like. It's just pure chaos, basically. One down. That's a good way to see what's going on. AI shouldn't hit aim when it's aimed at the last known position for a set amount of time. Okay. Now these guys are moving to extract, I think. So I don't have a condition that they break out of combat and then they go back to looting. AI doesn't exit combat state. Set timer. Do timer check to go back to previous state. Closest target and hearing should reset again. Okay. So yeah, this is the problem. They keep aiming at this last known position for a certain amount of time. This guy is aiming now. That's strange. He's totally missing him. The FOV arc. Now, if the hearing would be implemented, that would be very different. He would have heard it and then looked at it. I think he is now shooting through the wall. Yep. Okay. That's a problem. Yep. So his head was just able to see around the corner, but the gun can't. Okay. AI line of sight doesn't match when on corners. Fix with leaning or adding distance that the AI has to stand away from corners. So yeah, this problem here, yeah, this is tricky because he's stood there, so he's not next to it due to the clearance radius around his obstacles. That's a tricky problem. So I mean, what it's doing is picking a random position alongside this finger. So if I'd make that like super narrow, he'd always be stood there, basically. Okay, that's another problem to solve. Let's see what it does here. Yes, I really need to add the hearing. No more putting it off. Let's put that first. AI needs a hearing system. Which is going to be tricky because it's like, imagine the AI is like in a room and there's like 2 to 3 guns fired left, right, and ahead of it, and it doesn't see a target. It's like, it's going to turn left, it's going to turn right, it's going to look forward. There's going to have to become some kind of system to fix that, I'd say. All right. Well, I'm actually gonna call it quits for tonight. This is the first time I looked at the AI code in quite a while. Actually, a few weeks. So now I've got an idea what the problems are. So the question is, what is the solution? So first of all, I was reading some really interesting articles on AI in games. And apparently one thing that gamers really don't like is very realistic AI. Why they're not fun, apparently. I would think they are really nice, so I'm gonna work on that. But I was reading some reports of like studios that made like really realistic AIs, and what would happen is players would go, it's unfair, it's moving around me, because they just like lock on one thing and ignore the rest. And then players would like fall back to a place of a choke point, and then the AI would just keep coming through the door. So basically players always try to find the easiest way to beat a game, which makes total sense. I don't care though, it's going to be a realistic AI and it's going to be difficult. That's what I want, and that's how it's going to be. And if people don't like that, they can go and play some other game, basically. So right now, what I think the AI needs to do is it needs to make a score, right? Right now, it picks a random cover spot, and the only criteria is if I can see an enemy, can the enemy see my cover? So I don't know if you noticed it, but like when I was stood here and the AI was moving in, it wouldn't move to this piece of cover or this one because that was visible to me. But to be honest, that's just flawed in so many situations. Why? This piece of cover is way more dangerous than this one here because it has to traverse a bigger piece of ground. So in an old iteration of this game I was working on, what I had was it was a really awesome system where this AI would like plot like the safest route based upon exposure to fire time from an opponent. And it works really good. There was just one problem. It only works if the level is perfectly flat. So I just checked with rays intersecting each other and paths. It doesn't work with this game because there's going to be verticality and stuff like that. So I just didn't even bother trying to make it work. So this AI needs to reason a little bit more. It needs to be able to say, these are 8 pieces of cover around me, and based upon some logical criteria, I'm going to give them all, say, a danger score, or a favorable score. It's like danger score. You know, like which one is the most dangerous or which one is the least dangerous. That's a bit of a problem. Just because something isn't the most dangerous doesn't mean it puts you in a good position to be able to attack. And then you could have the most favorable position, where it's like, here I can inflict the most maximum amount of damage. And I'm like thinking, how do I combine the two of those? That you're, as a AI, like a player would, you always want to move yourself into the most advantageous position for you and the least advantageous position for your opponent. So I'm going to have to think about it. The cover spot class that I saw I'd created and just started, that's the key. I've got to do that and work on that, because I can't put the cover spot data on an actual cover spot because it's shared by maybe 4 to 6 to 7 AI units. So there's no way to write one piece of data there. So that has to be done all uniquely for every single AI soldier. And I've managed to put it off till now, but we're definitely going to start needing some kind of squad coordinator, where, how do I put it? Soldier 1 sees something and Soldier 2 and 3 don't. Soldier 2 and 3 now know that Soldier 1 sees something and they move to different positions. It's quite a complex thing to program, I imagine. But I wouldn't know, because just like most things in this game, I've not programmed them before. So yeah. So I'm going to call it quits. I've looked at the code. It wasn't too bad. The code's not the problem. It's a design. I've got to put stuff in there that they flank, and making that physics overlap sphere like be 16 wide. It's nice to just see how it works, but it's not as refined as I'd like, you know. And this isn't even including like a first floor building or a lower floor or something, you know. So it's already not good enough right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about this a lot. And if we go over here, so I'm not going to overfit everything this time. So I'm basically going to have this small thing to just get the ball rolling, and this is the old scenery, so it's completely and utterly wrong. Doesn't have the fade out stuff. I'm going to make the small building and this big one, and that's going to be the test playground. 3-4 doors on this one, lots of cover in there, high walls, little things. This is probably going to be the test spot, but that they can go from one position to another. And I'm just going to put like a loot location like right here in the middle, put one there, off they go. And that is going to be the test playground for now. This was just good to like get an idea of things. And there's going to be a huge amount of problems to solve. Like, what do they do if they're looting and they hear gunshots near them? Then they've got to swap into some other state and stuff. So there's a lot to do there, but that's okay. It's cool. Every day, one little bit step further to making things more workable. So didn't really actually, code much tonight. But coding is sometimes just looking at your old code and going, how does this all work again? So I'm going to go back and comment more stuff, comment some stuff out, check what happens, break some things, and hopefully I'll be able to get stuff into a more manageable state for the next stream. And I think I'm just going to try and get that cover class done, and then in stream try and like work that out, like, because there's so many problems with this kind of thing, which is why I'm just busting my brain right now trying to come up with a really simple solution. So yeah, not a lot of coding today, but this is actually the first video I think where I've shown quite a little bit of the AI doing its flawed thing. So to everybody that tuned in, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. I'll probably do another stream sometime in the weekend. Not too sure yet. So I'm going to wish all you ladies and gentlemen and all you other lovely people a good week. Stay safe, take care of yourself, and hope to see you in the near future. All right, have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.